Hey Travers, welcome back to another Tourism News Africa podcast. Today I'm Jesse, as always. You know, that's my saying. Anyways, I'm with my hosts today, Vuyo and Roche.
Hello.
Hey, how's it, Jesse?
How's it, guys? How are you doing?
All is good from my side. How about you, Vuyo?
I'm good, really good. It's good to be back in the studio.
Yes.
It's been a while. We've been a lot of traveling. Hopefully, guys, you've also been traveling, but we've been up and down the road. We just came back from
Port Alfred.
So
Yes.
a lot of content come from there. Don't expect it all come at once. We've got to space out because it's a lot. But anyways, today we're going to be diving into something for every young traveler, for between the ages of 18 to 35, and yes, after 35 you start to, I'll classify you as old.
Yeah, moment of silence for them.
I'm getting close to it. Anyways, and we're going to show you how you can travel Africa or just traveling in general without draining that wallet.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Okay, so I think, let's be honest here, when it comes to traveling, you're either because you want to travel, you're just curious, and you want to travel, but there's just one issue. You're either budget conscious, or we just broke.
True.
Exactly.
And for most people, they're broke because they like to party and waste money. So stop drinking. Anyways, so I don't know, Vuyo, for me, I think when it comes to traveling, I always will say this: experience versus luxury. We all know what's winning here, but people like to debate about this. I will say when you travel, it's about the experience. You want that story to tell your people when you come back. Mm-hmm. That's what traveling about, because you want to experience the culture, you want to experience the food, the climates, or whatever it is, the artwork, the buildings, all that. You want to experience that, right? Yeah. So luxury, what's what? You want to pay so much money for a hotel with good service. They give you a nice towel that smells nice, you wash your face, and you go in your room, stay in there the whole day.
Yeah. Look, I mean, for me personally, it has to be the experience.
Yes. 100%.
And don't get me wrong, luxury is also great when you can afford that. But even just looking at this specific topic about budget travel, the experience is more that you really want out of this. Because, you can pay so much and not get that experience. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? Exactly. But also the same way you can pay as little and really get the full-on experience. But it all comes down to what we're going to dive in today is about, how do you plan those trips to experience it a lot more? Because that's for me personally experience.
Yes, for me 100%. I agree with you. And for me, I want to say that the luxury is the experience for me. So it's not about the price tag. It's about the experience. It's about the people you meet, the food you eat. And then the luxury comes later on in life. True. As I would say. Yes. For now, we are staying in the hostels and eating the street foods. Yeah. And it's a great time, honestly. I'm having a great time.
Yeah. Cool.
So we all agree now, right?
Yeah.
That's experience is all the way. Because as you said, I like what you said there, that luxury is the experience, 100%.
Definitely.
As you get older, you have the stories to tell, you have a journal, plus with social media, you want to post everything. It's your Instagram, your TikTok, it's your little diary. Yes. You want to show, this is the bed I stayed at. Wow, nice, hey, look at that pillow. Soft pillow there. Yeah. Or, now I went to this place, I saw this. Wow, look at this place. When you go here, do not do this, do this. When I went there, I met this fantastic person. Now we're basically friends, we chat on Instagram here and there. You want that. That's the experience you want to have.
Exactly.
So, and I think the conversation is also, it's going to be comfort versus experience. Yeah. So luxury is nice, but comfort is also important.
Definitely.
So you sacrifice sleeping on a nice bed or sleep in a boarding house where it's just one stretcher, you sleep in a little thin sponge, and then that or a bed.
Yeah, but definitely.
Yeah, I think when it comes to it's all about having the right mindset of traveling, because you want to go, I want to have a good time, or I want to go and travel, I want to experience it, I want to have time is you can have a good time, you make it a good time.
True. Yes. That's definitely so point. And in looking at that, if we started with, budget travel tip number 1, it's getting there to your destination. Yes. And now we're looking at, for example, long travels, which is basically flights. Oh, yeah. And tip number 1 in terms of how can you basically win in your budget travel tips would be flight for cheap, right? Yes. So look at cheap flights. And that can vary in so many ways by basically booking way in advance, booking early, basically, right? For your trip that you want to go to later on within the year or maybe sometimes months, that's coming down.
And the times when you book as well.
And the times is when you book as well. Yeah. Definitely, you're right, because seasons as well affect pricing as well.
Yes, and the day of the week as well.
And the day of the week as well.
Tuesdays.
You've got such a good point as well. Not so long ago, I was looking at some of like the different flights booking systems, right? Where during the week it's more cheaper to book during the week rather than your typical weekends or Fridays, because that's where you sometimes see that traffic and high peak of people wanting to book flights to travel, whether local in your the African continent or abroad. Those prices, there's fluctuations as well like that.
Exactly.
And when you're looking at flights for on a cheap, it as well, it's just as simple as making sure that you're informed on your different flight packages, where there's different deals and promos that are there throughout the year. I personally, what I do to help myself is, so here in SA we've got cheap flights. It's one of the different sources that I would use, where now then I get notifications as to when there's the best rates for flying at certain destinations that I would like to travel to. And I get different notifications about that to say that, okay, in this time you can travel, for example, to Morocco, and this will be the type of flights that you can fly with, and these are the rates that you will be looking at for that time. So basically planning ahead when it comes to flight tickets, as well as using these different systems to see what works best. So that would be my tip for you. So on flights and winning on cheap flights.
Honestly, 100%. I think also like a hack with if you want to book a flight, even if it's local, go into Google and then you turn your phone onto incognito mode or locations off, because it's also the base on where you are, and it'll fluctuate the price. So if Google doesn't know where you are, the prices won't fluctuate. They'll actually be a little bit lower than normal.
So is that a general thing, irrespective of where you are in the continent?
It can apply to being global as well, but for more local flights, it's more effective with that.
Oh, that's definitely amazing.
That's a great tip.
I'd want to try that.
Yes, we need to try that.
Like can I say, the tips.
And that's one of the tips, and then looking at also like low season, off season. Rochelle, what do you have on us on that?
Okay, so when it comes to low season, I am all for going in the low season, because it's when it's less crowded. Honestly, the museums have shorter lines, the water parks. Yes, it might not be the most favorable temperature, but you can always walk around it. Honestly.
Jersey Bound, you'd be fine.
Exactly. Just prepare for the season that you're going into, and it's much cheaper. There's less crowded spaces, and honestly, you get a real experience of the place because you spend more time. Now, you're not wasting time standing in a line for 4 hours. You're just in the line for 30 minutes, do what you need to do, and you have more time to actually explore the place. And that is my one top tip, is try to travel in the low seasons. 100%.
I think that's a very good thing as well. And apart from us, people wanting to go during the traffic time or during like peak seasons, where a lot of people are coming through, those low times as well, like what you're saying, you really get to enjoy the beauty of that specific destination that you're traveling to. Obviously, given that the weather might not be all just sunshine and clear, but at the same time, you get to really explore things in depth, have a more longer time to, whether it's visiting a specific museum, like you mentioned, or a theme park, or just any stores. You really have that sort of that one-on-one interaction.
Exactly, and that could mean that your service could be much better as well. Because now the restaurant is not as crowded, so they have more time to speak with you, they have more time to serve you as a guest, so you might have a more enriched experience as well.
And also when it comes to transport, for exactly there, that's obviously, because Uber, taxis, trains, they all up their prices when they're peak season. They can make extra money with that. So off season, they have no choice, they go drop the price. I know not a lot of people are traveling at the time, so it's a little money saving, but it works,
Definitely.
Just a thing I'll throw in there. But
no, that works like really well as well for looking at that as well.
And the local transport will also be less crowded.
Yes,
because I remember in Mauritius, the buses were really crowded, but in the off seasons, there were no tourists in sight, and we actually had a chance to use the public transport. So it's more comfortable, I would say, if you're traveling in the low season.
No, definitely. I think that makes sense as well. Also, when you're looking at like flying as well, in terms of choosing, you've got more. Yes, yes, you're looking at flying on a budget, but at the same time, during the low season, you've got more sort of leeway in terms of choosing your seat allocations because that specific flight isn't as packed.
Yes,
you know.
yes.
And speaking about flying and traveling as well, you know, you're on a budget, but Jesse, how do you also find ways to make money while you're on these budget travels? Because let's be honest, sometimes, you know, you've planned, you've budgeted, everything is right, but then you get to that moment where maybe you've just overspent a bit from your budget travel. How do we earn, you know, money for that as well?
So now we're going from travel talk to money talk. So basically, anyways, so obviously there are ways to earn money. There's other love. You get passive income, which is, everybody wants to get passive income. No such thing as passive income. There's always effort you need to do in something. If you have the right guy to do the right investments, sure. But real world, you must do your own little thing. So basically, all you need is a job where you only need a phone or a phone, laptop. That's all. Where you can either do, let's say, you can do. If you want to do some video editing, you can do some digital marketing. That also works. You can do e-commerce. What's that one? Affiliate marketing also works.
Definitely,
works. And also just investing. You know, obviously, trade market is there. Crypto is.
It's a big one as well.
Not too.
but even like while doing that as well, sometimes most people are there and they don't know necessarily how to tap into all of those things.
Yes.
Something as simple as finding or volunteering in certain whether it's a market or contributing to something where it can be a trade exchange for your service in exchange for, you know, money. So while you're traveling and doing these different things as well.
When it comes to traveling, like exactly like you said, there's all traveling jobs as well. Like as I said, you can go teach English. You can do a hostel job. Either way, or working on I know it's a program in America where you go to these camps. You can do a camp counselor, and you can for little kids to watch them and that. There are some camps here in South Africa, obviously, where they're all fantastic camps to people for kids, bring the kids to go and let them run around in the bushes. Obviously, someone to watch them, like, no, don't touch that, but you can touch that plant. But there are jobs like that to work remotely for you to travel. Also, if you're high intellect, you know, high IQ with a good scholarship, hard work, obviously, as well, not just being smart. But there are ways to do that as well with getting a scholarship. And just, as I said before, freelancing is key. It's a powerful thing. That's passive income as well.
There's definitely a lot of ways of generating money, even
100%.
While being on a holiday experience.
And I would say au pairing as well. It might not be a holiday per se, but you can visit different towns because you're in one country specifically. So then you have more time to actually see what is around and not just pop in and out of the country.
Exactly. And I'll say, like, for me, the best job right now, today's society, with obviously everyone wants content, everyone wants to see what's on their phone, what's been posted. It's being a videographer and a video editor. That's obviously the best thing. You can travel, record, do some editing. It's not that easy, but do some editing. And then you post and make a reel, and then you tag some company that you like, a little target market. They say, yes, we like it, we would like to work with you, and that's income. So that's also a great way to travel and earn.
Definitely.
My little opinion. But not my opinion, it's facts. Only facts. But that's my one tip. You guys.
Now, speaking about traveling tips as well and how to travel in a budget, let's also talk about accommodation, right? Because that's also one of the main things apart from booking in terms of your travels, but it's also where do you stay, right?
100%.
On a budget as well. And there's so many different ways where you can basically stay on a budget. If that can be from areas of looking at different hotels, right, in terms of their rates, what their different rates are in different places. Example, booking directly at a specific hotel, or maybe using other third parties such as Airbnb, Booking.com, Agoda. Just making sure that your prices and you matching them and comparing them to all these different booking engines as well, so that you get the best money for your buck, Betty.
Exactly.
Is that saying right? I don't know if that saying's right. Money for your buck? That's right. We'll make it work. We'll make it work.
That's our thing now.
But like looking at that as well as traveling as a group when it comes to accommodation as well. Because there you're saving by each member contributing a certain amount.
Exactly.
That can help you guys collectively in the long run, rather than paying that full-on payment right then and there. It's the same thing with like most places that in terms of accommodation, they want a deposit up front,
Yes.
right? And then the rest you can pay up for a couple of months, or perhaps the full payment up front upon arriving. Those are different ways that you can work accordingly if you're traveling as a group for making accommodations, or looking at other alternatives like hostels that you can stay in as well when traveling, and looking at your stay. Backpacking was also a cool thing to do as well, in terms of staying at bed and breakfasts,
local accommodations.
Yeah, local accommodations as well. Or what some people are also doing as well in terms of switching homes and accommodations. Whereas you list this. Yeah. I know some places like Airbnb sometimes in terms of switching homes. So you list your property, right, as
like Airbnb.
An Airbnb where someone can come, and then vice versa with someone else in a different place. Let's say if someone's in Namibia or in Morocco.
Like exchanging homes.
It's a sort of exchange.
You live my home and I live in your home.
Yes.
Okay.
So that whole concept. Yeah, it's sort of like foreign exchange, but now in terms of housing. Because at the same time, instead of you going to stay in a hotel and everything, hopefully you feel at home. That sort of idea of being in a home that you can stay in rather than just a hotel. But now it's a whole switch between you and someone else. So that's also another way that we can do it. So yeah, definitely those are ways that you can look at saving on budgets when it comes to accommodation.
That's great. And honestly, just to add on to what you said about the local experience, as we say here, we know that we know the expression "local is lekker."
Yes.
And it really is, guys. Honestly, when you eat the street foods, when you go to the local museums, when you go to the beach and hiking, these are all really affordable activities to do.
Yeah.
Like I remember, whenever I go traveling, I try to do the most cheapest activities, which is the beach, which is hiking, which is eating the street food. Street food is really affordable, and it's really filling as well.
And good, it
It's
is.
good.
It's
Honestly, you get a big plate and you're really satisfied. So don't forget, local is lekker.
Definitely, local is lekker. And I can agree with you on that. I can, in like some of my recent travels, in the past couple of months as well, just going out to try local cuisines apart from the general stores that we would know, right? Or places that are just overpriced. That's the best way that you can experience your travels on a budget, is by trying local food. And at the same time, in doing that, that's where you can sort of learn that skill set of sort of like communicating in terms of pricings as well, because some places you'll go and it's just the standard tourist price.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
But if you're not traveling and exploring a place or a country as a local, you won't necessarily know how to bargain in terms of certain areas and negotiate.
In certain countries, it's expected of you to negotiate.
Definitely.
That's where experience comes in, because you need to do this to get the experience, to have that skill.
And you shouldn't be afraid. They expect you to start negotiating.
Yes, exactly. Because at the same time, look, you can definitely get an agent that can help you, or a travel guide. But then again, that'll be just biting a little bit in terms of the budget side. So in teaching yourself that trading as well, in terms of when getting food, etc., that'll be a good way of helping and saving you in your budget travels.
100%.
I think for me, obviously, with the whole tech era or revolution, I think when we have to travel, when it comes to traveling, we have to travel smart, right? And we have tools where we have our phone.
Yes.
But it's not. But we have a phone that's a little travel partner. That's a little man. Google will tell us, Google Maps. They'll tell us where to go. Especially like if you go to a country, you can't read the language.
Yes.
The sound is there. Sometimes not in English. You sugar shit. Or sugar honey iced tea. But there are also ways to help travel, also the ways to help save money, right? So you get Rome to Rio, which is also like a travel app that also maps.me, which is also quite helpful. And when it comes to budgeting, I think people overthink it. They don't really put a thought. They just said, "This is my money. food, transport to this, but there's more detail because you have to buy, because you got to see things like, okay, this is a nice little souvenir I want to buy for my brother. This is a nice little gift I want for myself.
Yes.
It's winter here, but it's summer where I'm going. But this will be nice when winter does come. I want to take this jacket with. So I need a new bag. I have to buy a new bag now as well. So it's all stuff. There's all the things you got to be wanting to buy. So now you have to have that expenses.
Yes.
So for me, honestly, you have to have those budgeting tools. So today's age, we all know lovely AI. So I'm going to throw in the normal one, the most popular one. You can use ChatGPT, you can use Grok, you can use Gemini, you can use all these fantastic AIs. And all you do is this: you list out where you're going. This is my budget plan. I'm going for this long. I'm going to spend this much. Ask me questions, what you think I'll be needing to know. But honestly, if you want, I need to know, and then from there you ask to please break it up for me with what I need to know for my budget plan.
Yeah.
And I'll go into detail, break it down perfectly, one by one. Transportation, food, expenses, stays, everything like that. And then from there, it's gonna make life easier. Or if you're not a fan of AI, shame, use Excel. Excel is a fantastic tool to use.
Yeah.
It's not, look, I know some people say, oh, Excel, I'm scared. But there are tips, tricks, as I say, Google's your friend to say, how do you find this, where to do this.
Yeah.
And then you can find it. You press those little buttons on your keyboard and then you get those little tools to work. But other than that, use tech tools to budget. I will help you a lot. I suggest it.
Yeah.
That's a great tip, honestly.
Yeah, tech tools definitely help a lot. I mean, it's helped me so many times in terms of just like what you're saying, planning in depth as well. I personally have used, the likes of ChatGPT just to really plan down. My previous trip actually was, most of it was like planned down to the T. Apart from, obviously using different other tools as well. But ChatGPT gave me a good base to start with, especially as to understanding what different pricings will be, especially when you're looking at currency exchanges as well, saying that, hey, this is the X amount that I want to use from wherever you are locally, and the exchange rate will be X wherever I'm going. Can you plan my itinerary and plan exactly to that currency so that I know that, okay, leaving here, this is exactly what I need to have that can work for my budget travel when arriving at my destination.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See.
You guys are really advanced.
I will show you the way.
I need to take some of this
I will
stuff.
show you the way.
That's definitely the way. No, it's true.
Okay.
But
yeah, honestly, guys, so you hear from us, travels like AI, use tech tools to help you budget.
Yeah.
When it comes to go to transportation, you got to know your cuisine. What's the one to say? The season, obviously, travel with the seasons. Obviously, that's important. Off-peak season, that is the best season to go. And yeah, honestly, guys, that is our tips for you when you go traveling. Think of us, watch this podcast, share with your friends, and yeah, if you do go and travel, tag us, let us know your travel plan, know what your budget plan was. We will love to see where you guys go. And I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. For you, Riche, thank you for today.
That was amazing.
I had a blast.
That was cool.